Let's be honest, we all use AI for pretty much everything these days. But have you ever stopped to think if you can actually trust what it's telling you? Because there's this weird and frankly kind of creepy thing that happens with AI. It's called a hallucination. And yeah, we're going to get right into it.
I mean, just pause and really think about that for a second. The very tool you count on for facts and information might just be, well, fabricating things out of thin air and doing it with this incredible, unwavering confidence. And this isn't some sci-fi plot. Nope, it's happening right now, and the consequences can be huge.
So get this. This quote comes from a real-life legal drama. A lawyer in New York used ChatGPT to help write up a legal brief, and it looked perfect. The AI spat out this brilliant document packed with citations to other court cases, the whole shebang. The only problem? They were all fake, completely made up. The judge couldn't find them because they never existed in the first place. This story just perfectly sums up the bizarre danger we're talking about.
So this whole phenomenon of an AI just confidently making stuff up, it actually has a name. And knowing what it is, well, that's the first step to not getting fooled by it.
Right, here's the official definition, an AI hallucination. Now this isn't really a bug like you'd normally think of one. It's more of a bizarre side effect of how these things are built. They're designed to generate text that sounds totally plausible, grammatically perfect, but it can be completely factually bankrupt.
The best way to wrap your head around this is with an analogy. Imagine a super smart student who's read every book in the library but doesn't actually understand any of them. The AI isn't being malicious. It's not trying to lie to you. When it hits a gap in its knowledge, its core programming is just to predict the next most logical word. It's just filling in the blanks with whatever sounds right, even if it's pure fiction.
Okay, so that's the what. But now for the big question. Why? Why does this even happen? Let's pop the hood for a second and take a look at what's really going on inside these models.
You know, it really boils down to four main culprits. First, you've got data gaps. If the AI just hasn't seen enough information on a topic, it'll improvise. That gets way worse if you ask vague questions, because then you're basically forcing it to guess what you mean. Then there's the fact that it's programmed to be a people pleaser. It's trained to always be helpful and confident, not to say, hey, I don't know. And finally, you have the classic garbage in, garbage out problem. If the AI was trained on a bunch of junk and misinformation from the internet, guess what? It's going to serve that junk right back to you.
So theory is one thing, but what does this actually look like in the real world? Let's check out some real-world examples from the biggest names in tech. You're going to want to see this.
And of course, we got to start with the one that kicked this whole revolution off for most of us, OpenAI's ChatGPT.
I mean, this stuff is wild. In one instance, ChatGPT just flat out invented a criminal record for a real person. We're talking details about the crime, their sentence, everything. All of it a total fabrication. In another case, a user asked for a source for their research, and the AI provided a perfect-looking academic citation. The only problem was the ID number for that article belonged to a completely different paper on a totally different subject. It created a ghost.
And that's why this matters so much. This isn't just about getting a wrong answer to a trivia question. This can absolutely destroy someone's reputation. It can derail serious academic research by sending people on these wild goose chases for sources that just don't exist. But hey, don't think this is just a ChatGPT problem. This is an industry-wide issue. Let's take a look at another huge player, Google's Bard, which you might know now as Gemini.
So, in a really high-profile public demo, Bard made this claim that the James Webb Space Telescope took the very first images of a planet outside our solar system. Sounds cool, right? Totally plausible. Except it's wrong. Other telescopes had already done that years before. This is a much more subtle kind of hallucination. It's not a total lie. It's a distortion of the timeline.
And that's exactly what makes this kind of error so sneaky. Unlike the made-up legal cases, this kind of thing is really hard to spot unless you happen to be an expert in astronomy. It just twists facts around instead of inventing them whole cloth, which makes it feel so much more believable.
Okay, one last example to really drive the point home. Let's look at Microsoft's Bing Chat, which runs on OpenAI's models.
Here we go again. In this case, Bing Chat invented an entire academic paper. It even attributed it to a real, very famous scientist, claiming he wrote a paper called A Short History of Searching back in '48. I'm sure you can guess the punchline. That paper never existed. Another ghost.
And the biggest danger here, which is something Bing has been called out for, is how it embeds these little nuggets of fiction inside an answer that is otherwise mostly true. It surrounds the lie with a bunch of facts, making it almost impossible for you, the user, to pick out the part that's totally made up.
All right, I know. We've seen the problem, we've seen the pretty scary examples. But listen, the point here is not to make you terrified of AI. It's to empower you to use it smarter. So what can you actually do to protect yourself?
Okay, here it is. Your reality check toolkit. It's just 5 simple steps. 1. If an AI gives you a surprising or amazing fact, just cross-check it. Do a quick search on a reliable source. 2. If you ask for sources, don't just take them at face value. Verify the citations. Click the link, check the paper. Do they actually exist? 3. Be specific. The clearer your question is, the less room you leave for the AI to just guess. 4. Whenever you can, use AIs that are connected to the live internet. They're generally better at sticking to reality. And number 5, and this is the most important one by far, treat it like an assistant, not an oracle.
And honestly, that last point is the single biggest thing I want you to take away from all of this. It's about a fundamental mindset shift in how you think about and use this technology.
Let's just break it down. An AI is not an authority. It is a smart assistant. It is not a source of absolute truth. It is an amazing brainstorming tool. And it is definitely not a fact checker. It is an incredible idea generator. Your job is still to bring the critical thinking. The AI does the grunt work, but at the end of the day, you're still the boss.
So, from now on, every time you get a perfect, beautiful, compelling answer from an AI, I want this one little phrase to pop into your head. Make it your new mantra. That sounds right, but let me double check. That one simple pause, that little bit of skepticism, that's your best defense against the confident lie.